Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the World Series of Free Enterprise Qualifiers. Tonight, you are watching the fourth Edward Percent qualifier. This is the last chance our players have to reach the final table for this flag set. We're here tonight with Tracker Smapey, Restreamer Invenerable, and my co-host Z-Man. What's going on, Z?
Not much. How you doing tonight, J-Money? Tonight we are looking for the final people to join Kirchin, Dusty Griff, Penguinator, Moonblaze Wolf, Scratch Dragon, and Chakashura as guaranteed spots at the final table. Zilch, Simbu, Aizan Tayama, and Zyrak are also watching this with a very close eye as they are the next four in line for the final table on Z-Score. So, tonight we have 80%. This is going to be a fun one. What are you looking forward to tonight, J-Money?
Well, I'm looking forward to the way the different players grind. There are no sirens in this flag set, so we're going to see a variety of different paths that our players can take to try to get levels on Edward. He cannot survive big bangs at the levels that other characters can, so without some lucky adamant armors, it's going to require some extra levels.
All right, so let's see. What do we have here as our first item? Ideally, our runners find a spoon. It is a sand ruby, so they'll find another Eddie right away.
Yeah, it's an interesting note. This flag set has the free lunch option on, so the Sand Ruby not too useful because they're going to be filling out their party very quickly with the duplicate Edwards that are waiting for them in the Waterway, in Nasidia, on Mount Hobbs. There's any number of ways you can fill your party up on these flags very quickly.
Yeah, agreed. So now it's just a matter of finding the things. As I said, they are looking for the crystal and part of the key item swap, but the big one we're going to want to find is the spoon. That is something Eddie can equip in this particular flag set and will raise his battle power up to 255, which means that he will absolutely lay waste to Zeromus, especially if equipped with an adamant armor.
Yes, it is unfortunate that item duplication isn't on, so we cannot have the full party of decked out Edwards, but at least we will get one Super Edward. The flag setting here means that the key items are all in the regular key item spots, so it's very likely to see a spoon. It would have to be extremely unlucky for it to not exist in the seed, basically. Now, our treasure setting is T4, so we're going to see the possibility of a lot of great equipment, which is going to kind of soften the blow of this all Edward party. The only thing is, T4 doesn't guarantee you find good equipment. It just makes it possible to find good equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the better equipment that our runners are going to be looking for here are Artemis bows and Artemis arrows. Those will be the top tier stuff for Eddie. Given that they will be able to equip Artemis bows and Artemis arrows. Samurai bows, Samurai arrows, probably the next level there. Given the shop settings, though, the S3, they should be able to find Artemis arrows in a shop. So then it just comes down to what's the best bow that they're going to be able to slap on their Edwards.
We can see Big Rich 419 and Flurry are here. Hidden Damsey and Treasury. We'll see if they pick up their hovercraft or if they wait to see if they actually need it. Now, it's interesting to note here, a lot of the spots where experience is available in this flag set are on the moon, so the Darkness Crystal is going to be a little more important than usual. The pass is in the key item slot, but I would expect a lot of our players to go to the moon if they can.
Yeah, agreed. That is probably going to be the best place for our runners to grind. If they can find it. It should be relatively, I shouldn't say relatively, but it should be straightforward to find, unless it is buried behind, the Luca key, behind some terrible boss there. That's really would be the worst spot for it.
The only saving grace if that were to happen was that trapdoors are also a good source of EXP, so at least they could kind of get a twofer there. Nightdew in chat mentioning that, hey, no EXP necessary. I will mention in one of our other qualifiers, we did see a very interesting low-level strat, and we'll see if any of our players go for it tonight.
I mean, in theory, it's possible. It takes a certain chutzpah to be able to pull that off, but Kirchen absolutely pulled it off the other night. So we'll see if any of our runners learn from that and might try to duplicate that strat. Okay, we have the captain heading down at Lion, so he's going to check out the key item behind the at Lion spot in a couple of minutes, I would imagine.
Flurry about to show us what's in with Bedward. And looks like it's the pants, so not a progression item, but once underground, gonna enable 2 free items. Good thing on this flag is at least you know what items you can get rid of. You don't have the inventory management problems you have where you're not sure which characters you're going to have, you're not sure what you're going to keep. You know exactly what you're looking for Edward.
BG Rich 419 finding some mute arrows, which are fantastic for... Oh, adamant armor. Adamant armor in Silvera, in the grass. Flurry found one.
Ooh, that is a good catch because not all players check Silvera, so that could actually be a very nice find depending on if the others are still checking for treasure when they get there.
So now we certainly have for 2 super eddies or more. Of course, one of them having the spoon, the other one having hopefully Artemis set up.
BG Rich grabbing the double Edward from Mysidia.
Captain B White finding the water hag at the lion spot. Nice and easy kill.
It always hurts a bit to find a free boss in one of these early game spots, for sure.
Yeah, it really, really kind of does.
There is also another saving grace in this flag set. If any of our players find Wyvern anywhere, the infamous one-shot killer, the Mega Nuke is turned off. Not completely. It will be a random move. So we'll see if we get any blockage there or some weird moves show up.
So some interesting finds here. We have Captain B White finding the Magma Key and Flurry finding samurai arrows in the Trojan weapon shop.
Yes, samurai arrow is a very top tier arrow. We are looking for bows for sure. It's going to be Edward's best weapon set without spoon. The Magma Key early is very nice. The upper Babel spot can be very tricky with a party of all Edwards if you have to go the hook route.
Zilch dipping into Mist and finding that the Mist Armory sells samurai bows. So that is the second best weapon for Eddie, not counting Artemis bow or the spoon, but only one of the Edwards is getting a spoon. So
that is a good find for sure. Pretty much guaranteeing that at least all the Edwards will be able to contribute as long as they can stay alive. Looks like Flurry about to discover this as well.
And Flurry, I believe, is also the one that discovered the samurai arrows. So Flurry's going to be nicely decked out.
Yeah, we can see immediately trying to figure out how many he can afford here and getting them.
Who also has picked up 3 elven bows, which again will help against mage type bosses, specifically the Magic Sisters and Ashura.
And J items are on here. Ashura can be a very tough boss without access to reflect, so they are hoping to find Star Veil somewhere in a shop. Would be very nice.
We have seen them in one of the shops. I forget which one, but it was part of a shop list that had a whole bunch of different stuff. So
looks like a lot of our players are making sure they hit all the shops. They don't want to miss an easy check to get some necessities like life potions, moon veils, curing items. It really stinks if you're at the end and you're realizing, oh, I missed a bunch of shops, but I'm in go mode and I just want to go instead of shop.
the Agate item shop selling moon veils, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a definite cheese ability for a lot of the more physically oriented bosses too. It makes you completely immune to physical damage. Very nice.
And LQ Fury running into the big boss in Agate, the NPC boss.
Captain already turned in the magma key. Looks like gonna go try to check out what's underground right away.
Now notice he has not yet picked up the pan from Bedward yet, so that's, and if he does go down to the underworld right away, that's a bit of a time loss there.
Yeah, it's hard to pass up that free key item check before you go underground. You never know what could be there, so.
Notably, BG Rich found a cursed ring for sale in the the Troyan armor shop. So what that will do is that will make sure that the center Edward is the agility anchor and will speed up all the other Edwards by proxy.
Yeah, it's a very useful tool, way more useful in the randomizer than it is in vanilla Final Fantasy IV, and it also gives you elemental resistances as well. So it does have, for the drawback that it gives to your stats, you do get some benefit out of it too. For anyone who's not familiar with the way speed works in this game, your agility is based on basically the character in the middle slot, and all the enemy and your own character agilities are compared to that when figuring out what the turn order is.
Now, interestingly, Flurry is putting his adamant armor on the middle Edward. So should we just call him Midward then? Middle Edward, Midward?
You know, the possibilities are endless for Edward nicknames, for sure.
Flurry running into his water hag fight. And we have Captain B. White checking out all of the dwarf castle treasures, finding a couple of Masamunes. Wonderful for Edge, but too bad Edge isn't exactly in his seed.
I mean, his name is Edward too. I mean, does he count?
Should. I mean, this is Edward %, right?
Looks like a lot of our other players are finishing up some of the spots that Captain has already been. We've got a few finishing up the Antlion Cave, gonna get that Magma Key, and some shopping finishing up. So we should have most of our players heading underground here pretty shortly.
We have Captain B. White finding the Bacchus wines in Tamra, which is wonderful. The Bacchus wines will cast Berserk on whoever uses it, and it also ignores a wall presence, so that is certainly something that's going to come in very handy for a lot of these bosses.
Yeah, and the shop settings do not allow for Bacchuses to be guaranteed, so that is a very welcome find, and it's in fact the only source of Berserk that these players are going to get, so finding them is very nice for sure.
And we have Flurry booking it right down to the underground. I would imagine once he gets into the underground, he will book it straight to Yang and bonk him on the head with the pan. Same for Zilch.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going underground with the pan already in hand, it's an easy choice to just go straight to Yang. Just get it out of the way, figure out what you're gonna open up.
It looks like we have Captain B. White going to take a look at the free item in the Feymark.
Now, it's interesting to note a very little used strat here. There are enemies called clappers in this dungeon, which we may see if our players can't find any other sources of experience.
Ah, yes, the clapper grind. Very, very seldomly used, but certainly an option if there's no other place to grind.
Captain resetting out of that warrior chest. It's a very smart strategy to check the chest and land of summon monsters. There's only one trap chest, so basically once you know where that chest is, you can check all the rest of the treasure, without worrying about dying to it.
All right, so it looks like we're going to have Flurry bypassing the land of summon monsters chest and just dive straight for the Feymark. And in the Feymark chest, we have the...
Very nice to find that now, meaning no double dip going to be necessary on tower. Unless, of course, the boss is nasty there. Yeah, the interesting thing is that none of our players have faced really any bosses to speak of. Water Hag is all we've seen, and they haven't really been tested yet with this party.
No, it certainly looks like all four of our runners are going under the same... another adamant armor in the save room in the Feymark, so that'll be 2 free ones and the one from the Pink Tail.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be very kind with those adamant armors. That's basically the best item that you want to see. Makes it way safer to fight Zeromus. And really every other boss in the game. Any boss that uses physical attacks or elemental attacks, which is most of them.
Anyways, as I was saying, it looks like most... before we were so rudely interrupted by adamant armor, it looks like most of our runners are all taking the same path, getting whatever free or free-ish items that they can, while trying to get Eddie the best equipment available before starting to take on some of the bosses.
Yes, and actually we're going to see the rare only single dip into Fagul because our players found that pan so early. They're now going to just go to Fagul one time to get Sheila 1, Sheila 2, and the Fagul item.
Yeah, which is an absolutely wonderful thing for time's sake. Just having to do that once, nice and easy time. Now watch the Sylphs give another adamant here just because.
I do want to point out while we're still on the damage tile screens here, there is a new option or newer option in the randomizer to turn off flashing effects in the game. We had to leave that option on for the purposes of this tournament, but that is an option if it's something you would like. That is now in the game.
Looks like we have Flurry going to go check out Tamra and be quite happy. Oh, we have Vanilla, Ashura, and Valvalis at the summon spots. Yep, those aren't really going to... Nope.
Yeah, there are no items there, but I'm thinking BG Rich was checking just to see if maybe there was a free boss to get some quick EXP from, a large EXP spot in those bosses.
And apparently our dwarf today is a bike mechanic.
Checking that dwarf for the fans. His job changes from seed to seed. It's kind of a community in-joke too. Make sure you check him.
And now Flurry is going to spend some of his hard-earned money and pick up some Bacchus wines.
Our tracker Smithy in chat's pointing out that Valvalis being there in Land of Summon Monsters means she's not a required boss, which is going to be a big load off these players' minds. Everett is one of the highest accuracy and speed characters, but even still, depending on the positioning, Vivalis can be a big roadblock.
Yeah, it can be. But with a couple of free adamants, though, that roadblock is a little bit less daunting, let's say. All right, so we have Flurry booking it straight to Fabul.
We'll see what Zilch is going to get from the gauntlet position, and also what Sheila's going to have. There's a Cure 3s in Fabul, also a very nice item to see.
We have the Magus Sisters here, which should go down fairly quickly thanks to adamant armor and mute arrows, and I believe an elven bow.
Yeah, I believe all of our players at this point have at least 2 mage killing items, so Magus Sisters do not stand a chance here. Yep, there goes Cindy, and after that, it's just a matter of time. Oh, Flurry had actually stocked up on some Stardust items, so that's convenient. Gonna gain some time here. Supremacy pointing out in chat, you can equip your bow and arrows in the opposite hands that the characters normally use.
By doing so, you nerf your own strength potential by, I think it's like 30 points or something. It's a rather severe.
Axodin, our community's resident number cruncher, and ROM Shredder pointing out it's 20%.
So the 3 key items we get from Fabul were the Twin Harp, the Adamant item, and the Baron Key.
Opening up a couple more checks, including the fan favorite Cave Magnus. We'll see if any of our players go there for the music right away, or if they try Baron first. Oof, Flurry fighting the full inventory boss here. Now, I just saw Zilch stock up on vampires. It's a very interesting item. We'll see if those come into use later.
I mean, that could be a signal that maybe he's going to try the same low-level strats that Kirchen did. We'll see. And it looks like Zilch is going to go straight for music at Twin Harp.
And BG Rich choosing to not go to Fabul and get that triple turn-in right away. Gonna check the tower first.
Interesting call. That tower spot, if you get the right boss in that tower spot, that can be an absolutely brutal fight.
Well, and when we're talking about the randomizer, well, first, BG Rich doesn't really have any levels right now, so he is really hoping on these bosses. But secondly, if you're thinking all the other players are going to go to Fabul because you're getting 3 checks, yes, mathematically, Tower doesn't have as many checks, but if it's something you absolutely need, it may put you ahead just because you're making a different choice than everybody else is making.
Or is he just checking out now, it could just be he's checking out this particular spot right here.
Very nice to see the guards here. They're going to go down very quickly at this spot.
Ooh, Zilch in the cave here in Cave Magnus, finding a siren. That's actually really nice. That can give you some nice free experience right there.
Yeah, and it is just one, but if you wait till you've got 10 key items to get the double experience, that can really give a boost. It's also good to note good time, I guess, to say that we do have the rescue flag on in these flags. So like all these extra Edwards that our players are gaining are going to be waiting in the city for them and can actually be switched out and used in basically when it's time to grind. If they get a good grind fight, they can catapult their level.
All right, so it looks like we're just about ready to get some music here on Zilch's side, so we will kind of be quiet and let the music play for a little bit while we figure out what music we have.
Now, the harp will tell you what the song is if you check it after this battle, but chat will have to help us with that one. I do not recognize that song.
Chat's saying Arcana. I'm not familiar with that game. All right, so we've got a whole bunch of different things going on here. We have BG Rich fighting Rubicant at the top of the Tower of Babil. We have LQ Flurry taking on Pale Dim behind the Dwarf Castle, and we have Captain B White taking on the Fabul Gauntlet at the Baron Inn.
Killer, kudos to our tracker Smakety for keeping up with all of this. Zilch actually getting helped here by the fact he doesn't have a full party yet, so they couldn't get blown away by Shadow.
You have the Earth Crystal behind the Baron Inn.
That means Mega Treasury check at Troya. Who knows? Maybe another Adamant armor will be in there. Looks like a BG Rich has hidden all of his other Edwards and just has the Adamant Edwards out front to make sure they can all get EXP from this Rubicante fight.
This is going to take a while because that spot's got plenty of HP.
Looks like we may be getting a music again from Captain B. White. Not sure if he's just checking Troya or going to go get it while he's there.
And Captain White picked up the Earth Crystal, so I would think he's going to check the treasury back there.
Was blocked by the town lady boss and decided to check some treasure rather than wait for her to get out of the way. That is a pretty rare check there in Troy. You don't see players go for that a lot just because it's a little bit out of the way, but it is 4 chests, so.
Okay, the dwarves giving the Luca key
Opens up some possible grinding later if a better spot can't be found on those trap doors.
Now, looks like Flurry is going to join BG Rich and going up the Tower of Babel. And we still have Zilch taking on Golbez.
Man, this Rubicon and Golbez fight took forever, but Zilch finally out of it there.
All right, so let's see what Golbez is hiding. Golbez is hiding the Legend Sword.
Yeah, and these flags, getting an Excalibur from that doesn't even help. They have the items to do it. Who knows? That some of them may do it just kind of YOLOing to see if there's a good item at Coco's shop, but otherwise, just another key item.
We haven't seen the Artemis arrows yet. The Artemis arrows could very well be in Coco's shop.
Yeah, the shop flags are kind of mysterious when it comes to Coco's shop. No one's actually quite sure what actually you can get in that shop depending on the flags. It's kind of a mystery that Boardface has kept.
So, chat actually bringing up a very good point here. By finding the Adamant and the Legend Sword, we're down to a 50-50 chance of whether or not a spoon even exists in this seed. Because a pass is considered a key item here, so it's going to take the place of either the Adamant, the Legend Sword, the Pink Tail, or the spoon.
Yeah, so we're gonna miss out on either the spoon or an extra adamant armor, which it's kind of funny, but it's very bad luck because if there's no spoon, that's like you're only missing one key item. So to not have it when you really want one is a rough call.
We do have now a path to the moon. The Darkness Crystal was up top of the Tower of Babel.
So once our players all get that, BG Rich here going to be the first one with access to the really good EXP spots, as long as you can actually win at least a few battles up on the moon with the current boss.
And the Super Cannon holding the package.
Yeah, pretty much we are not going to see the package used tonight. Edward is everywhere. They don't need the extra character. And they don't even need to check that boss because Miss Dragon holds nothing. So once they're on the moon, our players are going to be looking for a few things. They're either going to be looking for an easy to free boss in one of the moon boss spots, or they're going to be looking for the more traditional fights of the King Ryus, or even trap chests or behemoths and red dragons on the moon. Now, all of those fights are actually pretty rough for their parties right now. The adamant armor is going to help a lot, but some of those enemies deal HP-based damage, so could still be tough.
All right, so we have Zilch here taking on the Baron Castle spot. Dark Knight Cecil being the first fight here. Pretty free fight, given that Eddie can just go hide.
Justice is not the only right in this world. Someday you will see the justice of hiding your entire party.
Well, except for that one Edward that apparently loves to eat floor anyways.
In pure Edward tradition. Baron Castle's going to give potentially a lot of loot here too, so this could be a smooth move on Zilch's part.
Certainly picking up a bunch of gold with a couple of Leviathan summons. Silver Apple, always a welcome sight in these 80% seeds.
We've seen so many good weapons for Edge. Give us the other Edward, please.
Oh, look, an Excalibur. Again, more money. DJ ATC, yes, Big Bang is non-elemental.
Looks like all of our players are on the way here. If they actually check all the spots we've seen, then we should have someone with 10 key items here shortly, and that will be taking off after that, straight to trying to get some EXP once they find this crystal.
At the top of Zot, we have a CPU fight, and at the Kainatsu spot, we have Bahamut.
Well, they've got Star Veils here, so rest in peace, Bahamut.
Don't need 3 Eddie Star Veils, and 1 will do the job just nice.
Being frugal with the items, very nice.
And Bahamut will kill it. Flurry taking on the Fabul Gauntlet here at the Baron Inn, and what are we going to get after the long walk down the stairs in Baron?
Captain B. White should be getting out of the CPU fight here pretty shortly. Yep, there goes the CPU. Our players kind of converging here, having most of the same key item lists, just depending on if they've done tower or not at this point.
Baron Castle giving the hook.
Well then, it would be nice if we had found any tails yet, but we have not, so no turn in for that other key item and no adamant armor yet from the pigtail.
Although we are most definitely starting to run out of spots here.
Yeah, so we are now just missing Ordeals and the Rat Tail turn-in and
Sealed Cave.
Zot. Yeah, Zot and Sealed Cave. So
So pretty soon we're actually going to figure out whether or not a spoon is even possible in this state.
yes, we will know soon. Out of the remaining locations, which do you think our players are going to opt for? most optimally.
Well, all right, so let's take it on a basis of what we know here. What we know here is that unless this Zot spot gives us something really good, then it's kind of looking like the crystal is probably going to be behind the rat tail, which may be in the sealed cave. It is looking more and more like that crystal is definitely behind the rat tail. The question is, where is the rat tail? Is it going to be here at Zot, or is it actually going to be behind the sealed cave? And then the other spot we don't know will have either the pink tail or the pass or the spoon.
Yeah, players avoiding ordeals like the flag, unlike some of the other flag sets for the World Series of Free Enterprise, ordeals is not very lucrative in this flag set as it normally is. So that may backfire this time if a required item is there.
All right, Captain B. White takes care of the D-Mist, so let's see what we're going to get here from the Tower of Zot.
Holding up for a spoon till the end of the night. It really doesn't feel like an Edward percent unless we get the spoon. Let's see.
And we have the crystal.
Ooh, there we go. So we're gonna have to wait for BG Rich or Flurry to find that Captain B White does not have the Darkness Crystal yet. So gonna see. Let's going back underground. Ooh, this is the right choice.
Yep, he is going straight for the spot that will give him access to Zeromus. Now, the only question is going to be, is he going to try to check for, various things for the spoon?
I think that definitely depends on exactly what strats are going to be used. If they're going to be some forced reflect strats on Zeromus, where you're just trying to get him to hit you with those nukes. Is there going to be some weird hiding strats, or is it just going to be straight up power leveling these Edwards until they can just kind of muscle through? Softnum in chat with the Drain Sword height. Rest in peace, Drain Sword. No one can equip you.
Looks like Captain White is doing, just checking some of these alert chests.
Actually, that was the first level up for one of Captain B. White's Edwards. I've seen so many good weapons. It's so frustrating when you don't have the characters that can use all this great stuff.
But hey, at least it's free money.
That is true. Captain B. White is being pretty thorough here in Tower. Looks like he's still looking for some more equipment.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's looking for an Artemis bow. I'm guessing that is the big one he's looking for.
Yeah, because apart from Adamant, Edward's possible armor set is not great. So there's really no other standout armors for him.
So just doing a quick key item count here, 3 of our 4 runners, it looks like, have hit that 10 key item plateau. Captain B. White, I think, by my count, is at 8. So Captain B. White, but he'll take care of that 10 count here in the tower. And we have BG Rich actually summoning the lunar whale here. Ooh, Power Robe. That's a nice find. Other than Adamant, that's probably Edward's best armor is the Power Robe.
This is an interesting move for BG Rich because he has not exhausted the spots on Earth yet. We're going to see, is he checking the shop or is he coming here for experience? The only grace is if BG Rich gets some levels here on the moon, then going back down to Zot is going to be very fast compared to how the other players did it.
Now, if he did pick up a Siren, then he's going to probably head into the second level here of Cave Bahamut, use the Siren, and then take care of a couple of gold dragons here to get 180,000 experience points real quick.
Yeah, and with hourglasses available, it's pretty safe at this point.
So,
decides to nope out and go back to Earth.
Interesting to note, I don't think we've seen Artemis arrows in this state. I mean, they're not guaranteed in S3, although they're possible. I don't think we've seen them.
I don't think we've seen them either, and at least I haven't seen any pro using Edwards putting out the type of damage we'd expect if they had them.
Invenerable, yes. One of our runners did peep the Baron weapon shop. I want to say it was Zilch that peeped it. It was either Zilch or Flurry, I'm pretty sure.
Well, and I did notice Flurry also peeped the Evelyn Cave shop, which I don't think anyone else has gone in to check. So being thorough here, looking for any edge that they can get, not the character, of course, but any advantage.
A little note here as regards to that, I'm a little surprised that Flurry didn't pick up rune armlets for his Eddies. That's one of the better armlets that Eddie, I believe, can equip.
Yeah, and as far as the Zeromus fight goes, it's one of the better accessories to wear just because the magic defense is off the charts.
Okay, we have Zilch about ready to pick now. He's through the first Zot fight here. Let's see what happens at Zot fight number 2. And what does Flurry find for the sealed cave here? Flurry finds a rat tail.
Oh, so this rat tail turn-in is gonna either be the spoon or the pigtail, which can then be turned around and turned in for another adamant armor. So,
or the pass. Because remember, we still don't have ordeals.
Ouch. D-Lunars, not a fun boss to find, although at least, the fire attack is HP based, so it's not going to kill. Cure 3 is available, might help, but this one has a pretty good amount of speed and HP.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it might be worth it to just hide Eddies and then wait for the breath attack from the D-Lunars and let them froggy themselves.
Yeah, that may be the backup here if it's not going well, because if you attack the D-Lunars with physical attacks, they reflect themselves and start casting viruses at you, but or they bounce them off their own walls. But that actually does run out, and they will just virus themselves to death. The AI isn't set up to recast the wall, so.
And it does look like Flurry is setting up for it. The first one is breathed and froggied. Ooh, this is the second one.
Lunar frog strats. This is always a fan favorite as well. Very interesting strat on these. For some reason, the breath attack bypasses the boss pit and allows them to hit themselves with this.
Yeah, and that's actually really unfortunate there, because now they can't attack the other delunar, or else they will start that virus spam, at least the one that's still delunar form. Okay, and we have Zilch now fighting the D-Mist on top of Zot. And we have Captain B. White taking on Rubicon at the top of the lower Babil.
There are still a lot of the more easy bosses remaining, so that could also be a good source of experience for our runners here. If they find some of the kind of more free, or at least not as dangerous as far as having certain ability sets. There's a lot of bosses left that only use physical attacks, which are pretty much trivialized by adamant armor.
And there we go. Now our D-Lunars are both froggied. So now it's attack away and wait for that HP to get chipped down.
Oh, wow. Look at that Berserk arrow hit.
And goodbye.
That's definitely some welcome experience, too.
Of course, now he has to walk out because exit items don't work in here, and you have no warp.
Yeah, if you have not played vanilla Final Fantasy IV in a great while, there are a lot of locations in the game where you cannot exit because the game wants something story related to happen on your way out of the dungeon, and that's how they did it, to make it so you couldn't bypass those plot flag events. Those locations include here in the Sealed Cave, in Football, and also some other locations.
BG Rich, finding his Legend Sword, now has enough to turn it in at the Cocal Shop if he so desires. One last prayer for one last prayer for Artemis arrows.
Lutsar on chat pointing out that you can't exit out of ordeals either, even though there's no story event. That was developer design so that they could show off how awesome Paladin Cecil is on your way down.
And Lower Babil is also no exit because of the Super Cannon cutscene. And Zilch finding his crystal. All right, we're going to get a rat tail turn in here from Flor.
This is going to start to be the real interesting part of this run because the players are all moving towards go mode, and we're going to get to see how they prepare for this Zeroma's fight because there's a lot of different options here. Oh, there's a pass, so we may be in trouble here on that.
So, the spoon or the pink tail is left behind Mount Ordeals. Any of our runners on stream go to Mount Ordeals to try to get either a third Adamant armor or a spoon. It's just. And it looks like Flurry is doing the combo of Cave Magnus and Zot next.
It seems like the way things are going, we're going to get close to all key items on some of these players.
And Zilch heading straight up Lower Babil, so he's going to get his Darkness Crystal soon. Meanwhile, Captain B. White is about to pick up his package.
You know when you get something from Amazon that you really didn't want to order, it's not what you wanted? That's kind of the package that we're looking at here. Zilch going to slog it out here with Rubicon at the top of the tower. So while we're just waiting for our runners to get through some boss battles here, should mention this game has a thriving community on Discord, the Free Enterprise Workshop. Definitely go check it out. The Free Enterprise website itself actually has links, and there are links on the dashboard here. It's a very awesome game to get into, whether you have ever sped around original Final Fantasy IV or not. And there are players of all skill levels involved in the community. It's very fun, and it's very customizable for the experience you want to have as well. There are even flags, a channel for new members, and also flags suggestions for newer players to go through that can kind of get you used to the randomizer without having to play any of the really hard options. Like, this is basically a challenge mode we've come up with for this tournament where you only have Edward, but there are a lot of character options. It's very customizable.
We now have LQ Fillory entering the Golbez fight. We have Captain B. White picking up his Lunar Whale. We have Zilch taking on Rubicon, and PG Rich up at the top is up.
And to date, none of our players have really gone out of their way to get experience yet. So they've all been saving it until they know that they're ready to go. And so we're about to see what they decide to do. Now, Captain B. White is on the moon here without the pass, but has the Darkness Crystal, so I would expect it's the kind of optimal choice at this point, if he's not going to search for more items, to do the dive in the lunar subterranean, get EXP there, and hope to get enough levels on the way down, maybe with a short Ryu grind near the bottom.
Yeah, if he has any, he can turn on and do the silver and gold D's, the king and the whatever the other Ryu is called, king and ging or something like that.
I believe that's right. I've actually never played any of the re-releases of this game. I've only played the Super Nintendo version where they're just gold and silver D's. We find an Oddward on the moon. Huh. Interesting as well. Captain B. White is dismissing one of the leveled Edwards in favor of the brand new fresh one.
Ooh, and Zilch takes a wipe to Rubicon.
Oh, that's unexpected. Yeah, we see Captain B. White isn't stopping to get any treasures here. Not going to risk getting one of the really tricky trap chest fights. Just going to go straight to the bottom, maybe check the bottom bosses after the save point. or perhaps not going to level at all. We shall see. Zilch is using these dancing daggers on Rubicons. I'm not sure if that means he hasn't found any good arrows or what's going on here. I do see some Artemis arrows that are picked up from somewhere, but not going to waste them on this fight, of course.
All right, so let's see what Captain B. Light does now that he's down here. I would think maybe check the lunar spot here for hopefully a nice, quick and easy 200,000 experience, or we check the plague fight spot first.
Yeah, and I didn't see him check the Wyvern spot on the way down either, so he's just wanting to get down here to the bottom. Ooh, this is very fortuitous.
Yeah, this is a very free fight here. And not only is it a nice free fight, but it is a fight where you can easily life glitch.
Yeah, there comes the life glitch on the officer who's going to hold most of the experience for the fight. Very nice play on Captain P. White's part, and as the only one who's gone into the lunar subterranean to find this boss fight, this can put a head on the EXP real quick.
Yeah, and Odward, the Eddie in the middle, is going to get a slingshot effect here because he is going to be less than 10 levels behind the rest of his party. So you're going to see Odward here, certainly gain a ton of levels. Or not.
Yeah, interesting to see the hourglass run out, actually.
Casual 113,000 experience.
Very nice. So it looks like Captain B. White's setting up that's why he took the brand new Edward to use as an agility anchor.
Yeah, probably going to slap a cursed ring on him, I would think, if he hasn't already. Oh, and we have BG Rich making the Coco play here. Maybe find something good here in the Coco shop.
Yeah, that's a stretch. It's a little bit of desperation, but you never know what you could get. And strikes out. Still picks up his Excalibur, though. It doesn't feel right to leave it sitting there, I guess. Cat Claws would have been pretty much the best item for Yang if he existed.
And it looks like Captain B. White has turned on encounters here and is going to fight a Ginryu and a giant, a silver D and a red giant.
When I was a kid playing this game, these red giants were one of the coolest looking enemies for me. I loved them. Flurry about to get the crystal, so all of our players are going to be ready. It just depends on when they think they're going to be completely ready. Ooh, lucky Grimoire there with Odin. Very nice.
All right, so now that Flurry is going to grab his crystal here, question is he going to actually do ordeals and find either the pink tail or the spoon, or is he just going to be like, meh, don't need either one?
Pause in chat asking, doesn't that mean we don't have spoon? It is also possible that the pink tail has been removed rather than the spoon, but we don't know because none of our players went to ordeals to find that item.
Yeah, ordeals is either the pink tail or it's the spoon. So we don't know which yet because nobody's checked it, but it's one or the other. That's the only spot in the game that has yet to be checked. Nope, nope. Where's he going? Oh, he's picking up Bacchus wines.
Captain B. White thought this through and is using the grimoires to kind of just luck. He's prepared to beat these battles without them, but he's thinking, hey, if I can get a lucky grimoire off, I'm going to.
All right, so let's see. Where's Flurry gonna go? Looks like he is not going to do ordeals.
Now, this is an interesting play here from BG Rich. The Giant does have battles with Mac Giants, which give a decent amount of experience, but you have to kind of hunt for them. They're not a guaranteed encounter. And there are a lot of treasure chests here, but the normal grind fight that people come to the Giant to do, which is the D Machine grind, is not really performable by this party. So you kind of need weak to really make it worth it. So I'm wondering what if he's not picking up treasure chests. So I think he's going to be hunting for Mac Giants here.
Could very well be.
Or maybe even hoping for a free boss, because this spot gives a crap ton of experience.
I believe with double experience, I believe this is 200,000, and then the CPU, and then the spot behind is 300,000, or it's 300 and 400,000. Ooh, Antlion, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, so the normal ways this party would deal damage are not a good idea in this. Edward, unlike characters like Yang, who can use alternate commands to still deal physical damage, Edward's physical damage always comes from the fight command, which will make counters happen, which is not good. So we can be seeing BG Rich is looking for some sweet EXP from just these two fights here, and hoping it's worth the time invested. And
Yep.
no, figuring that's not worth it. Reset. Ooh, Captain B. White having a little trouble here. Caught some blue dragons. That's really unfortunate. These can be really dangerous.
And this fight's gonna take a very long time too, because he has his alive Eddie berserked, only doing 300 damage per shot. So this fight's gonna take a while.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Captain B. White right now, I'm thinking, ooh, I need to reset this because it's literally going to take like 40 turns to beat these dragons. I think he queued the Bacchus on that Edward before his other Edwards died. He wasn't expecting it to be the only one left.
Reset. I don't think a reset's an option for Captain B. White. I don't think he's saved since doing a bit of his grinding.
So these blue dragons have 15,000 HP each. So yeah, that's it. He needs to get out of this battle ASAP, basically.
Yeah, and given that it's a random encounter that he is encountered, I'm surprised he's not running.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he will die, but it's gonna waste way more time than it's worth, and he's only gonna get experience on the one Edward from it. So like he can survive, but it's just not going to be a good return.
Zilch picking up some moon veils in Aggert. We have Flurry looking for some fight in the Giant, and we have BG Rich. Looks like he's turned down encounters. And it looks
This is so interesting.
Looks like Zilch is about to head to the moon.
So we have one player searching for random encounters in the Giant. Another player who was looking for boss fights in the Giant decided it wasn't worth it and went to the moon. Another player who went to the moon right away. And Zilch, who hasn't grinded yet, but is now shopping for maybe either some items to help with the grind or to maybe not grind. I see some grimoires, so probably going to see at least some fights from Zilch.
I'm not sure what fight Flurry is looking for here on this floor.
He's running on this floor in particular, not looking for the Mac Giants. I'm actually a little confused as well. I'm not really familiar with the enemy placement in the Giant besides the D Machine. And it's got to be something on this floor particularly because he's deliberately not moving onward to the next floor. Chokoshura in chat saying it's looking for a single searcher.
Supremacy not being far off, saying that Cat and White's dragon fight here might take longer than the Zeromas strats at this level.
Yeah, that's a big oof. I mean, I think Captain is thinking that a little bit of sunk cost going on here, thinking, hey, I can live. I'm going to get something out of this battle now that I'm in it.
You gonna run out of arrows before he actually kills anything?
Well, there's an interesting bug in this game where when you're berserked, most of the time you will not run out of arrows. It will use the quantity, but your final arrow just never gets used for some reason or another, having to do with how the ATB system and checks work on that. Oh, and there's the reset.
I'm a little surprised that was a reset and not a runaway.
Okay, here we go. This is the fight Flurry was looking for. The Searcher, which will summon Mac Giants.
Ooh, and we have Zilch doing an Ordeals check.
Mom Bomb at Ordeals. BG Rich finding Kanazo as well. This is gonna hurt. Adamant does not help you against Kanazo's wave attack, so. But he will get scared of the lit. Still already had the wave queued. That's unfortunate.
Well, BG Rich will be very happy to see the Typo Guard fight here at the Plague Spot. And notice that. Oh, go ahead.
This fight's going to be very fruitful for Flurry, for sure.
Yeah, and he does have moon veils popped on all of his people, so he's not going to take any damage from the Mac Giant here. And by using Thor Rages to do 1 damage on the Searcher, he can pretty well do as many of these Mac Giants as he wants.
Yeah, and it should be noted, I mean, Edward's stats are not great among the cast, but as long as he can survive a big bang, in the level 70s, Edward's stat growth actually gets very good. So this could actually, show us some interesting, little known, little seen stats from Edward in the final fight, I should say.
Zilch getting through Plague at the very last possible second. So let's see, what do we have here at Mount Ordeals? Do we have a spoon or do we have a pink tail?
Hashtag the dream. It is the spoon.
Yeah, so the dream of Mega Eddie is alive.
Sad to say, the player who's probably going to have the most levels on his party, Flurry, is probably not going to go check that. So we won't get to see the maximum carnage from the spoon this playthrough.
Looks like we have BG Rich going to go check the Ogopogo spot.
Also another heavy experience spot, but can be very tough even with the more easy bosses here.
Oh, Evil Wall, this is just a brutal fight here.
Yeah, but we have a secret weapon here because if you just let Evil Wall get to the end and all your Edwards are hidden, he will demolish himself. So if it comes down to it, at least one Edward is going to get experience here.
I'm a little surprised he's not hiding all of his Edwards here.
Now, this is not a strat that I use very often, but I do believe you need a target when Evil Wall first gets to the final position for him to actually start attacking, and then once he loses that target, it will take him out. But BG Rich did not want to try that, so gonna go find something else to do. I think BG Rich is gonna go check the Wyvern spot right now. Yes, that is where he's going. Zilch with a sealed cave dive might be doing doors. This is good because the strong Edwards here with the good equipment should be immune to the auto death from the doors. Huh, but passing up that one, not turning on the counter to this one. I guess Zilch is actually going for the item here. Maybe hoping for pass? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I gotta think he's looking for the pass here. Which of course it is. I mean, this is the rat tail leading to the pass, but gotta think it's a pass. Check.
BG Rich finding Mylon Z there in the Wyvern spot, so this should be a cleanup. Hits pretty hard, but with mood veils available, I'm not sure if BG Rich has any, but adamant armors will protect the ones that matter.
And it looks like Flurry is finishing up his Mac Giant grind here. What do we have? That was 1,000,000 HP, I do believe, or experience.
Oh, 66 levels on the slingshot Eddie.
Yeah, he's got two Eddies well up over 70. He's got two Eddies at 71, level 71, I should say.
Yeah, was checking the status there to see which Edward was right for the middle slot, and I'm assuming going to move the good equipment to those level 71 Edwards. Yeah, he's getting out of here. That's what he wanted. Time to go. And with that, I think Flurry could be our first one at the Z fight.
Okay, so Jewelry Jelly asks, so what is the slingshot strat exactly? Okay, so under this flag set, what we have is one of the options available is that any character that is, I believe, 10 levels below the average level of the party gets a 3x bonus on top of whatever experience is in the whatever experience you get from the fight. So by having 2x experience thanks to 10 key items and that 3x multiple, he actually got 2 of his Edwards to have over 3 million experience in one shot. So that obviously took them from level 1 all the way up to level 71.
Yeah, usually it would not be so awesome because it only basically helps you one fight and then that character will be caught up. But because Flurry used a fight with infinitely summoning enemies, that's a way we can exploit that behavior in the randomizer so that you can basically just keep getting experience as long as you want it.
Now it looks like Flurry is optimizing his equipment.
Beatrix is fighting the moon bosses here, got through Mylon Z, might be going back for Evil Wall, but is going to have to fight some random encounters. Those bosses are not going to be enough experience, I don't think, for what he needs.
So I have to say that was a really good strategy for Flurry. I mean, he got those levels, and he got them real quick.
Yeah, and he knew what he was doing. You can tell he's practiced this strat because he knew what floor to go to. He knew where to try to find that single searcher summoning Mag Giant fight. He knew exactly what he was looking for.
All right, so now that we have Flurry going into the Z fight, we have a question for chat that we ask every time that we have a stream on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen in chat, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
For those who don't know, the sprite for Zeromus is randomized. I have actually never seen us use a race where that flag is off. The sprites are mostly created by our own Scala Kitty, who's a part of the workshop for this randomizer. And as far as I know, there are hundreds of them in now. Very awesome.
I believe the last count is up over 400 at this point.
I myself am rooting for our Lord and Savior, Demon Chocobo, as always.
Scala Kitty correcting me in chat, saying not 400 quite yet, but getting there. All right, so let's see. Who are we kicking today? It is Lichmas. Oh, Kate Stiff hitting it on the head.
Meanwhile, Captain B. White trying another Blue Dragon fight. Having a little bit better luck, has 2 Edwards alive and just a single Blue Dragon, so may be able to actually, there we go, finishing it up.
And Zilch completing his 17 out of 17.
Rest in peace, Pink Tail.
And Captain B. White fighting a Fatal Eye.
Not a fight you see every day. It's actually not very common in the underground to get this fight either.
Zilch heading back up lower Babil, I think, to take on Rubicon? I think?
Yeah, I know Zilch took a wipe to Rubicon earlier, but I could have swore he went back up to try to get him. I guess not.
Ooh, and we found our first Artemis bow on Captain B. White's side. Flurry slowly, steadily getting his way through this Zeroma's fight.
Yeah, so I would be very worried. Really, the two higher level Edwards are the only ones that are going to survive these big bangs. He's got one hidden. I don't think that was on purpose, though. I think it was an auto hide. Got to start throwing those Cure 3s for sure. Now, that is somewhat of a safety setting in the randomizer. I believe if there are no white mages available on these settings, Cure 3s are guaranteed in a shop somewhere. It's one of the few items that's pretty much guaranteed.
And Rubicant goes down. And Zilch will, I guess, finally finish his 17 out of 17 by picking up the Darkness Crystal.
Ouch. And that's, you gotta be, when you see that after wiping so much earlier in the run versus that boss, that's gotta be frustrating, because you could have been on the moon fighting moon bosses already.
Dusty Griff, we thank you for the raid. And welcome to all of our raiders who are now joining us for this qualifying table number 4 for the 80% event at the World Series of Free Enterprise.
If you are just joining us, Flurry here on the bottom left corner of your screen is on the final boss fight already. Just seeing if he can get through it now.
Yep, we have Captain B. White in grind mode, as is BG Rich and Zilch. They're just choosing to, well, Zilch just finished his 17 out of 17 and is now going to do his grinding. Flurry did grinding on Mac Giants up in the Giant of Babil. As you can see, vaulted his eddies up to well over 2,000 HP. So both of his eddies in position 4 and 5 can easily absorb a unnerfed Big Bang.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that considering the party, it is pretty great play from all these players that they have checked every key item spot at this amount of time. It is just the regular key item spots, but still, this is pretty quick. Tifa, I don't know about you, but I try not to eat Big Macs with a spoon. Maybe some people do.
Okay, so let's see, where is Zilch gonna grind? Right now we have BG Rich grinding on doors.
Yeah, gonna be putting good use of those life potions here, because I think it's gonna take 3 attacks to kill these trapdoors at the current level / damage that he's at.
And it looks like Zilch is going to head up to the Giant of Babil.
Huh, but leaves immediately. Now, the thing to watch out here for on Flurry's screen is, yes, he does have two highly leveled, well-equipped Edwards, but no way to get around the HP refill of Zeromus. So he is going to see the Meteo phase, which is almost certainly going to take out his potion chuckers. Uh, that it's just something to watch out for. If you start Meteo phase right after a big bang, it can just be really poor timing and catch you off guard.
Oh, I see why Zilch noped out of it right away. He's getting a couple of low-level eddies to slingshot.
So we may be seeing the same giant strategy that Flurry used, except there have been quite a lot of extra Edwards, so I think Zilch may be able to get more extra Edwards to slingshot. Although, if he puts 3 in his party, that brings the average level down too far, perhaps. You gotta do some quick math there and see if you can actually make it work.
Well, I think his other eddies are at 35, so 3 35s. Alright, that would be 105. Divide that 5 ways, and that's an average level of 21, right? Only have 2, that's 70, 71, 72, 73. Divide that 5 ways, and you're looking at, what? You're not even looking at 16, 15, 15, 14.
Now, while Flurry has been fighting through this Zeromus fight, we actually had our first finish off-screen from Baka Shinobi with a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 46 seconds. That is a quick reminder. Although we have these 4 featured players here, there's actually, I believe, 9 racers total. They're just not on screen.
So Baka Shinobi has, in fact, punched his ticket to the final table next Friday. If LQ Flurry can finish up this Zeromus fight, he's got a very good chance of finishing second and punching his ticket to the final table.
Flurry is slogging through here, doing quite well. Hasn't taken any unlucky hits, hasn't really been in danger, but just kind of has it down, knows he's got the powerful Edwards, and is just kind of slowly but surely getting through. Captain B. White having a heck of a time with this moon grind. Still has 4 Edwards under 1,000 HP.
Actually, all 5 of his eddies are under 1,000, I guess, if you count his anchor.
Oof, Flurry taking a kind of unlucky big bang here. He had not yet healed his lower Edward, so he's going to have to bring some out of hiding just to chuck some life potions and get that damage dealer healed up.
He's in trouble. He only has 1 Cure 3 left.
Oof, did not stock up.
Well, I think he stocked up. I think the issue is he didn't stock up enough.
Ouch, and that might be a wipe here unless he's really lucky on the damage roll. No, and it's just the one hiding Edward. I don't know if he's going to be able to recover from this.
He's trying to figure out what to do right now.
Yeah, for the first of our featured runners to be in this Zeromus fight, that's a tough blow to get unlucky like that. Okay, so hoping to reflect whatever Zeromus is doing next, but here comes the Big Bang. Managed to hide in time. At least the timing is good here. Managing to evade it.
Invaded the black hole.
So this is the backup of this is the backup of backups here that we were talking about earlier. Do you want to kind of explain what he's doing here, Z-Man?
He's just basically timing his hides so that he'll show himself whenever Zeromus is going to cast a nuke or something along those lines. So he's going to just basically trust Zeromus to kill himself.
Now we should mention here that this is insanely risky, because if you miss time and get hit with the Big Bang, you're done. That's it. So
Dark Kobold has finished in second place in this race with a time of 1:35.39 and has punched his ticket to the final table.
GG to Dark Kobold. Yeah, and we should mention Flurry did not come into this fight intending to do this strat, so as a result, his battle speed is still on the fastest possible, which makes this very difficult.
So just to recap really quickly, our guaranteed final table combatants will be Kirchen, Dusty Griff, Penguinator, Moonblaze Wolf, Scratch Dragon, Chakashura, Waka Shinobi, and the recently finished Dark Kobold. Right now, the next four up according to Z-Score are Zilch, Simbu, Aizen Tayama, and Zyra.
And there's the reset for Flurry. That's a little heartbreaking.
And we do have Zilch on the Matt Giant grind here. And if you take a look at the difference in grind strategies here, BG Rich already has 4 of his 5 Eddies up well over 1,000 HP, and Captain B. White, who started his grind long before BG Rich, hasn't even gotten to any of his Eddies to 1,000 yet.
Yeah, I mean, Flurry is not out of this by any means, because the other featured players are not yet ready to face Zeromus yet, whereas Flurry is already heading back right now. So
I'm a little surprised he hasn't headed back to pick up some more Cure 3s. Because that was, I mean, his fight was going along okay the first time, except for the fact that he ran out of Cure 3s.
the thing to worry about here also is okay, so the way the tournament works is your placement matters. It's determined by a calculation which we call Z-scores. So the more people that finish off screen in front of Flurry, the least likely Flurry is going to get to the final table. So he's got to be feeling that now after this wipe, that he doesn't know what the other players have done. So he doesn't know if he's safe yet or not.
Speaking of finishing, we have Iker finishing in third place with 138.45. And just a guess from me here, but it's looking like that score is probably going to get Iker into the final table, given that he finished so close to second place. I'm thinking that gets him into to the final table.
We can see BG Rich's strats continuing to pay off here. Might run out of trapdoors and have to do some stuff on the moon still, but is definitely progressing pretty quick. Now, Zilch, on the other hand, I have lost track of how many Mac Giants Zilch has killed. He might be going for straight up level 80s.
He might be. Yeah, he might just go for as many Mac Giants as he can until he kills that searcher.
I think if these flags remain popular after this tournament, we're just going to have to start calling these Mac Giants the special sauce.
The special sauce grind.
If you loved omelets, just wait till you try the special sauce.
Invenerable, putting out an offer that he's going to gift a subscription to this channel to the first person to post themselves eating a Big Mac with a spoon.
Shout out to Nven. Nven is doing our restreaming tonight, which basically means getting all of these video streams combined and set up for us. It's immensely hard work. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody has the internet or machine to do it, and we greatly value all of our restreamers in the community. I mean, while we're talking about eating Big Macs with spoons, I think it would have to be the long spoon that they give you to eat a McFlurry with, right?
Or you could, go to Wendy's and pick up some fries and eat it with a Frosty spoon. Dip your fries in some Frosty and eat a Big Mac with a Frosty spoon, because why not, the heresy?
Yeah, Captain B White here on Red Dragon, Blue Dragon fight with one Everett alive again. This grind strategy is just not paying off.
All right, so let's see. What did Zilch get? Way too fast. That menu was way too fast for me to even see what the heck was going on.
The HP levels are going to tell us a lot when he gets to the Z fight, for sure.
Now, keep in mind, Zilch is the only runner here to actually have the spoon. So he's going to do some rather nice damage to Zeromus here.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, that is going to make a large difference, because even though Flurry has been back in the Zeromus fight for a good amount of time now, what we're looking at is a very high-leveled Edward with the spoon, which has maximum attack power. That was something that had been demanded by the community, and Warface put it in the game. They make Edward good. Okay, here's a spoon with maximum attack power. But when his stats actually get good in the 70s and 80s, it can be deadly. I mean, it could be dealing max damage. Now Zilch coming to Fabul. What's he picking up? Let's see. Going to the shop.
I'm guessing tier 3s or something along those lines. Tier 3s.
Yep, there they are. Not going to fall into the trap.
He's basically selling everything he doesn't need for that Zeromus fight.
Taking no chances.
Oh no! Looks like Flurry's going to take another rip here.
Oh, didn't even get the chance to try to save it with that last Edward. Had the HP drain from Big Bang. Zilch can definitely pull ahead here. This Flurry's in danger now.
Is he going to pick up another low-level Edward and do another grind?
I think that could be the only reason he's coming in here, but that's going to take some time.
Maybe he's not going to. Maybe he's not going to grind this one. Maybe he's going to use this one as an anchor.
That could be just what he needs. I mean, he's not doing poorly in the Zeromus fight. He's just getting bad luck. It's not poor play. So perhaps the little bit of agility futzing can help him out here. Now, Zilch does not have the same amount of levels on his Edwards as Flurry does, so we'll see if he has to struggle with Zeromus as well.
But also keep in mind that Zilch also has his hands backward here. The arrow needs to be in the dominant hand. So for Edward, his dominant hand is his right hand, so he is experiencing a 20% damage penalty by not having his hand in this correct.
BG Rich getting there. Looks like about 3/4 of the way through his grind. I love the input display on Flurry's screen, just mashing A.
All right, so now we had Zilch and Flurry not quite frame for frame here, fighting Zeromus, but extraordinarily close. And we will actually see how big of a difference that spoon pickup for Zilch is going to be.
In chat, we had a question: how many levels did Zilch get from that fight? It got his Edwards to level 68, I believe, which is 3 levels less than what Flurry got his 2 Edwards to.
All right, so we have the Bacchuses going off, and here we go.
Yeah, it's good to note Flurry actually wasn't using Bacchuses the other times that he was going after it. So this is a change in strategy a little bit, maybe just getting frustrated about not having the damage output to get to that final phase.
Zilch getting some decent RNG by getting one of his non-important eddies to eat floor first.
Hey, yeah, if you're going to take a counter nuke, better be one that's not going to survive the Big Bang anyways.
And look at that, 5,800 damage from Eddie to Zeromus. I mean, it takes Flurry 2 or 3 attacks to get that one attack that Zilch just got.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Zilch being the only one to go find the spoon is actually probably gonna let him loop Flurry here. Because Flurry was only a couple of battle turns ahead, and already that spoon has put Zilch in front. So as long as there's no wipes, Zilch is going to come out on top in this case. Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of damage that you would see from Cecil if we had him.
But only if Cecil had a Crystal Sword and an Avenger.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the problem with Cecil is if you don't have good items for him, he's really kind of a liability in this randomizer. Now we know Zilch has plenty of Cure 3s. So far looking very good on this Z fight. Feature Rich hitting Baron Castle here too. Really trying to look now. Kind of got done with his grind and was like, I think I still need some more.
I wonder if he's doing this to open up the Odin spot, maybe?
Could be, or maybe he just wants the spoon and is thinking there's not too much left to check to find it. We're looking here. We'll see which player can get through Zeromas first of these two. Oh, that is Meteo phase for Zilch. Almost there.
Yep. And let's see what we have going on here. So 1 or 2 more spoon attacks should do it here for Zilch.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Meteo took out everyone else, but he's betting he can get it done before. Yep, and there's the flash.
And there is the flash. So Zilch just finished in 4th place in this heat with an official SRL time of 150.49, just beating out Neon Gray, who finishes 5th with 151.20. So that time will definitely get Zilch into the final table. Well done, Zilch.
We will try to have Zilch here in the booth very shortly for an interview, but in the meantime, we'll see if Flurry can get it done this time. 3rd time's the charm.
And with that ding, we do have Zilch joining us in Discord. Zilch, congratulations, sir. Well done.
Flurry taking an unfortunate counter nuke on his good Edward, but looks like he's still going to make it. Already had the Cure 3 queued up. Captain B. White has kind of noped out a lunar subterranean. Gonna go check Bahamut Cave, I believe, to try to find the Kiryu fights on the 2nd floor, maybe.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, Zilch. Well done, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hopefully you didn't see too many of my stupid plays.
Yeah, we thought you played fairly well for, especially for 17 out of 17.
I was referring more to the going to the Giant of Babel to slingshot without my slingshotted Edwards in the team.
Yeah,
and then trashing my Cure 3s before the Z fight.
Nope, missed that one completely.
Oh, excellent. Then pretend I didn't say anything.
We will note, Zilch, that you were the only one of the featured runners to go get the spoon so far, and that really helped you out because as we speak, Flurry is in the Zeromas fight for his 3rd time, and he actually entered the fight before you, but you just blew right past him with that spoon damage.
I was happy to see the spoon when I gave up on Rubicamp the first time. I was like, all right, this is a good consolation prize if I end up having to go back. That worked out well.
Indeed. So how does it feel? Probably. I don't see any reason you won't. How does it feel making the final table for this event?
Feels good, I guess. Yeah, pretty sure I was on the Z score prior to this, so I don't see how it wouldn't happen. But yeah, feels good. Excited. Get some more Edward next week.
And this will be your fourth final table of the World Series. So you've actually done really well for yourself. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Zilch, let me ask you a question. Were you planning on the Mac Giant strat from the beginning, or did you have an array of options and that was just the one that was decent for you at the time?
It was either that or I was gonna try to give Kirchin's strat a try. I debated it when I got the pass, but I knew there was only one location left at that point, so I figured I'd just get the darkness and go from there instead of trying to gamble that I could pull that off.
Gotcha. Well, we can see it definitely paid off for you. Flurry actually also used that strat on stream. His Edwards are level 71. I think yours were 68. Definitely looking good with those levels after that one fight. I think it's a tactic that a lot of people picked up after seeing you do it.
I like that strat a lot. It gets you 2 Edwards, which is usually all the Edwards you have equipment for up to a good level. If you don't have the spoon, I feel like it's safer to just go a little higher in levels. With the spoon, you can kind of just blow through the fight with those levels.
And we do have BG Rich now heading into the Zeromus fight with a very balanced party.
Man, his HP levels are kind of scary from my perspective. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't look like he's going to be able to take a full Flourish Big Bang here.
Well, Zilch, anything else you want to say about this seed before we let you go and see what the rest of these players can get out of this fight?
I'll say it's got one of the harder Edward seeds for what that's worth. Other than that, I like this flag set. It's been a lot of fun. And streaming, tracking, and yeah.
Well, thank you, Zilch, and again, congratulations. We'll see you next Friday for the final table. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and while the interview was happening, unfortunately, Peasants OMFG has forfeited from the race, unfortunately.
Yeah, on a seed like this where EXP is hard to find and you start to get frustrated near the end, I can't blame anyone. This was a rough seed for sure. I mean, we can look, Flurry has already wiped his Zeromus twice and is still slogging through. You know, it can take a lot out of your willpower when stuff like that starts to happen.
Although Zeromus is in the medial phase here for Flurry, so a few more attacks should take care of it, as long as Flurry doesn't get insanely unlucky with these medial rolls.
Yeah, he's taking no chances here. He's still Cure 3ing his highest HP Edward, just in case. No mistakes. Gonna make it through here. And there's the flash.
There we go. Flurry 14 has finished in 6th place in this race, with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 18 seconds.
Yes, and sub 2 hours is still an extremely respectable time for these flags, especially considering how many key items they had to get to find the Zeromus access. Now we do have BG Rich doing pretty well here, nerfing Big Bangs, kind of just eating the counter nukes and nerfing them to try to survive. I'm kind of wondering what's going on because he hasn't healed in a bit, and the next Big Bang can take him out. I think maybe all of his Edwards are berserk, and he's just kind of flooding the action queue.
Nope, and here comes a Big Bang.
I think he was hoping he would outrun that Big Bang, but no, that's a wipe. Yeah, that's just the unfortunate fact about this this type of races. You want to go to Jerome as soon as you possibly think you can, because you don't know what the other players are doing, and so you might go at the edge of where you think you can complete it, but sometimes it can backfire when you just don't have the stats and the numbers. So we can see BG Rich going to go check ordeals, get that missing item, and grab another extra Edward, possibly to slingshot, but probably just going to have to grind out a few more levels the regular way.
We have Captain B. White still grinding away here in, I think he's still in Bahamut's cave.
Yeah, Captain B. White is finally looking at some respectable HP values. Cave Bahamut's seeming to be the better choice rather than Lunar Subterranean here for him. Has a while to go, but actually has 3 Edwards that are somewhat comparable to BG Rich's party right now.
And with that, we do have Flurry joining us in chat. Flurry, well done, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was heartbreakingly disappointing, but I guess like I can be happy with the first 55 minutes of that run being super clean, at least as clean as I can probably do it. And even though like the routing decisions might not have panned out the way I wanted it to, getting go mode at the time I did, I actually thought going along this was one of the probably the best of the 4 qualifiers. And then I miscounted a little bit on the grind, but when got my levels up to around where I'm used to, and then the Z fight happened.
Yeah, I mean, the first time on that Z fight, we thought you were gonna breeze through it. It seemed very close.
I was expecting Meteor Phase at least 3 or 4 times, and it never happened. Usually my strategy on that has been, of the 2 slingshots, one of them is a healer, because he's going to be able to take a full big bang. The other one's always going to be Zerg. He's always going to be able to take a big bang. And if I can manage keeping one of the other ones up, great. If not, it's not a big deal. And had a couple miscues. Accidentally singing for Zeramis was kind of humorous looking back. And having me run, I tried to make a point to have the top Edward who had the adamant on it. I left it on him, thinking an adamant with the 1600 or 1400 HP might survive a big bang full if I get lucky. And I was down to like DEFCON 1 and he was the only one left. I was like, alright, I could probably like do some bad reflex stress, and that didn't work. So yeah, I got really flustered after that happened, and then went back, decided to just get agility anchor 1 and then go from there. And it surprisingly, that Z fight was exactly what I expected the first one to be, like super smooth. So it happens.
So I do have to ask, you were at 16 out of 17 key items and only Mount Ordeals left. What was the thinking behind not doing Mount Ordeals, knowing it was a 50-50 chance at the Spoon or Pinktail?
I figured I didn't need it. I didn't think a third adamant was really going to help me. I knew there's a 50% chance that that it had the Spoon, but there was also a 50% chance there was 2.5 minutes of not doing anything, and I was playing for top 2. So, had I seen, I guess maybe it might have made. Did it end up having the Spoon? Now that Now
Yeah.
that the race is over? Yeah.
It was the spoon.
I mean, I had did the last qualifier pretty much that same fight at lower levels without the spoon, and it went about as I expected. Not finding Artemis arrows was kind of a bummer. That was probably something I didn't take into account quite as much as I thought it would be, but
Yeah, there
Oh,
was
yeah.
only, I think, yeah, I think only any of you ever found like one 10-pack of Artemis arrows, and that's it. And there was only one Artemis bow that any of our runners that we saw find either. Captain B. White found an Artemis bow in the lunar subterranean.
yeah. After Adamant number 2, I pretty much told myself I was done looting. So, yeah, had samurai bows were for sale if I ever needed to really go back, and samurai arrows were right next to the pass at the in Troya. So it ended up like probably being the difference. Had Eblon Cave have Artemis arrows, that first fight probably goes a lot better. But that's the way the rando crumbles.
Yeah, we did have someone check Avalon Cave, and they were not there. So you did actually luck out on that one.
Yeah, no, I checked it, but it didn't have it. It did have exits, which helped. I would have done ordeals before Twin Harp if I didn't find any exits, because I'd refused to walk out of the Magnus Cave. But yeah.
Cool. Well, anything else you'd like to share about your race tonight before we get back to the action?
No, I appreciate you guys taking the time to do commentary and restreaming and tracking and all that, and it is absolutely super appreciated. And even though like this was an incredibly disappointing and heartbreaking run, this entire event has been super enjoyable, and could not have asked for this to have been any more fun, and looking forward to having Penguinator hopefully carry me in a 2v2.
Thank you, Flurry. We appreciate that. And since he mentioned it, I will say the next event in the World Series of Free Enterprise is the 2v2 race. A little bit of a sneak preview in that in this Monday's community race of those flags. So definitely check that out. The qualifiers for that are next weekend after the final event for the Edward percent takes place.
Alright, thanks guys.
Indeed, I believe the entire community is actually very much looking forward to the 2v2 races that are coming up, both Monday for the community race and then next weekend for the qualifying tables, and then 2 weeks from Friday, 2 weeks from this past Friday, for the final table. I think everybody's kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, when 2v2 became a thing in our community, it caught on extremely quickly. It's very popular, and the flags are tough, but because you get to communicate with your partner about item locations, you can really cover a lot of ground fast, and I think that's what has made it catch on and become such a community favorite so quickly.
Indeed. Are you going to be participating in that?
I am not. I'm unable to make the final table, so there's no point in me doing the qualifiers, but I may try to race in the community race tomorrow. If that happens, I'm actually going to let the dice roll and match me up with a random partner. We'll see what happens.
Oh, very nice. All right, so we have BG Rich here taking on Zeromus with, as you can see, his Edward in the 5th spot has the spoon and is just absolutely crushing Zeromus. And we have Captain B. White arriving at the Zeromus fight.
I gotta say, BG Rich has been doing an excellent job here nerfing the Big Bangs. If you're unaware of the mechanics here, Zeromus shakes a couple of time battle ticks before he casts Big Bang. And that is actually his script resetting his magic power to a more sane amount. for Big Bang, and if you manage to hit him in between when he shakes and when he Big Bangs, he will counter nuke you, but it resets his magic power, so you'll get hit by a less powerful Big Bang. It looks like BG Rich did not actually manage to nerf that last one, but he still managed to survive through some lucky damage rolls. The damage rolls in this game are infamously wide, so some attacks will hit you for very little damage, where the same attack will hit you for a lot. He is a Meteo phase, but oh, that could have been bad, and actually the Meteo missed, which actually just saved BG Rich.
Yep, now that the rocks are raining from the sky, BG Rich should, with one more swipe from Bacchus Spoon or two, take care of Zeromus, and there is the flash. BG Rich has finished in 8th place in this race with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 21 seconds.
GG BG Rich there. That was a clutch, because that literally would have been a wipe without that Meteo miss. It was just very poor timing on when the phase changed.
And I should also mention, while we were having that interview with Flurry, Rumblefish finished in 7th place, 2:05.26.
We see Captain B White is the last of our featured runners here in the Zeromus fight. Has one Edward above 2000 HP. That's kind of considered the more safe HP level. A couple at 1800, which could also be good. Looks like one is already hiding the anchor. I think has a good chance to get through at these levels now. And there are still Captain B White here is in the final battle, and we have one more racer off screen, Woo Bear, who is also still racing. So considering the first dot done was at an hour and 30 minutes, this is not a bad spread at all for the times. It just came down to grind strategies and kind of who went to get the spoon and who didn't.
Yeah, pretty much. If you took the time to get the spoon, then your Zeromus fight was pretty straightforward. But as you can see here, we have Flurry and Captain B White who did not get the spoon. They're a little bit more. Let's just say it's a little more deliberate, their fight.
Yeah, and you can see the damage here getting dicey for Captain B White. That was almost a wipe. Those damage rolls were a little bit higher, and that would have been a wipe. And that's where Zeromus can get you sometimes when you're riding the edge. It's just a really unlucky damage roll, and you're done. Yeah, he had to bring his middle Edward out of hiding to make sure he got those cures off, but now he no longer has that fallback option, and one of them fell barehanded, berserked Oddward, the only one left, so this looks like it will be a wipe.
Yeah, and that is the wipe for Captain B White, unfortunately.
Yeah, and remember, we did mention sometimes Berserk doesn't use up your arrows, but sometimes it does. So that's what happened there. His final Berserk Edward ran out of arrows there.
Well, I think what happened was when the black hole took off the Berserk, right, then an arrow shot would actually kick down the counter. So I think that's what happened there, is that he only had, the game thought he only had one arrow. So after the Berserk wore off and an arrow got fired, well, that kicked down that last arrow.
That's an ouch, but Captain B White not deterred here, going straight back down to try again. getting a good look at Captain White's inventory here. Hadn't seen what actually was equipped before. Huh, still an assassin dagger on one of those lower Edwards. I think he's not expecting him to live too long anyways, so. Looks like we are about to get BG Rich here with us for an interview.
Hey there, how's it going?
Pretty well, BG. How'd you feel about that seed?
It wasn't too bad. I think I liked the play that I made at Tower to actually try to fight Rubicant, even though I couldn't find any like really good arrows. I mean, I was stuck with just Mute and Charm. But I felt like getting that Darkness Crystal at least gave me a shot to compete today. So it wasn't too bad. I think I botched the leveling up at the end. And should have just looked for the spoon first before doing all that stuff. And then I ended up just settling for the trapdoor grind anyway.
Now, had you decided on your grinding strategy ahead of time? Did you already know what you were going to do going in, no matter what the key items you had were?
Not exactly, because I actually tried looking to the moon to see what I could find, and because my characters were just so weak, I was like, well, I guess I've got to go back to the trapdoor grind, because that's what I'm most comfortable with on the Edward percent flags, even though I know there's some other ones that people have recommended. I just haven't gotten time to practice those other ones yet.
Gotcha. I think you made the right move there, abandoning the moon. Captain B. White is actually in his Aromas fight right now and went that route and kind of ran up against some really frustrating walls in the random encounters.
Yeah, I think it was just interesting that, because I know a lot of people just avoid ordeals on this flag set because the 3 battles or whatever, unless you want to level up, if you find the crystal already, it's like, why even bother? And then was.
Yeah, we saw that damage from the spoon was definitely helping you in your Z fight. And actually, your HP levels were far from safe, so excellent work on the Big Bang nerfing.
Oh, yeah, I've been practicing for, with the Zerk strategy. I mean, you can be as low as, like, maybe 1,400 or 1,300 on hit points, and if you just time it right, Adamant, you can get the Adamant person to stay alive, and I figured with 1,700, 1,800, I was pretty comfortable with that.
Now, I'm not going to lie, we were deadly worried for you when we saw that you got hit with an unnerved Big Bang. I think you thought you were going to outrun it, and then Meteor Phase started right away.
Yeah.
And that Meteor miss was so clutch.
Yeah, that was one where I was just like, well, I know the Edward with spoon, that's the one I'm feeding, and if I wipe, it's okay. I can live with that. So I was like, I'll just do the smarter play, feed him the Cure 3 already, and then Bacchus right after, and it paid off.
Always nice to be able to pull out a fight that you think you might be losing it. It's really bad timing, but it happens a lot where you get that Big Bang and then it's Meteor Phase right after. But very nice work on that Z fight for sure.
Thanks.
And how do you feel about going basically all key item locations in this one?
Yeah, it was kind of a disjointed seed. Like, I think in a way that was good, though, because I'm sure struggled. And, like, I mean, I thought this was easily a sub 2 hour, but then I played through it, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't find the spoon, and then I didn't want to look for it, because I was like, oh, I'll try to win with, like, what am I thinking? That's ridiculous. I can't win with all archers with that low of hit points. So I ended up changing my mind and the spoon at the end.
Very nice. Well, it paid off. Congratulations on the finish, and thanks for volunteering to be one of the featured runners tonight. It takes a lot of gumption, especially on a seed set like this.
Oh, sure thing. Thanks for everybody organizing and commentating and putting everything together. This was a pretty fun event, and actually I hadn't even played the Edward percent flags until first time I played it, so it was just new to me to even try it. So it's kind of exciting to actually get a hang of it pretty quickly.
Cool beans. Well, we'll turn back here then to Captain B. White, who's still in his Aromas fight. And actually, Woobear has forfeited, so Captain B. White is our only remaining runner at the time. We'll see if he can make it through this time.
All right, yeah, I think I'll tune in now. Thank you.
Well done again. Congratulations. Nicely done.
Oh, thanks again. Thanks again. Keep up the good work too with the commentary. It's always fun having these races, even if I'm just watching in the audience. It's very enjoyable to be able to take part in this.
Oh, and Captain B. White takes an ill-timed big bang and unfortunately rips.
And actually, that is now a forfeit from the captain. Let's see. We're gonna get him in here, see what he thought about the seed before we signed off tonight.
Absolutely. And again, just to remind everybody that the final table will be next Friday, or I should say this upcoming Friday, at 9:30 p.m. on twitch.tv/Free Enterprise, RPG Limit Break, and Randomania. So make sure you come and tune in for that. But otherwise, we do have Captain B. White joining us in Discord. Captain B. White. Good try, man. I mean, that Z fight did you no favors. So make sure you come and tune in for that. But otherwise, we do have Captain B. White joining us in Discord. Captain B. White. Good try, man. I mean, that Z fight did you no favors.
Yeah.
Looks like Captain may be a little trouble with the mic, but I will say while we're waiting, I mean that there is definitely no shame in forfeiting. This was a very tough seed, and actually 3 out of the 9 runners forfeited. That's a third of the field. Very, very intimidating.
Yeah, you know what they say, everything's going great until it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually something I had in mind to ask you, Captain. Though, when you first went into the lunar subterrane, when you got into that double blue dragon fight, what was going through your mind when you had that single berserk Edward?
So it was kind of a sunk cost fallacy moment where I was kind of stressing about my grind because I didn't practice the lunar grind. I had actually practiced Clapper, and then it was a game time decision that I switched. And I got into that fight, and I had that one Edward, and I switched arrows, and I didn't mean to switch to Medusa. I was like, this isn't going to do me any good. And then without thinking, I was just like, hey, let's throw a Bacchus on top of this. And I sat there and watched it for a while, and I was like, this is stupid. I need to reset.
Now, you say you changed your strat. What was your original plan for your leveling?
I actually practiced the Clapper grind, so once I got go mode, my thought was, all right, I'll go to Fey March and I'll grind there. And since I had the crystal, I was like, no, it'll be fine. I'll grind on the moon. It's cool. And then I got there, and I was like partially kitted out and grinding in the entirely wrong spot. And then later, I got my head together and I went over to Bahamut's cave and started grinding there. And then I was like, oh, cool, this would have been great like an hour ago.
Yeah, it did seem like you found your stride a lot once you went over to Cave Bahamut, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely had everything I needed to grind there. I could have done that so much quicker, but I don't know, out of like anxiety and then stubbornness, I was just like, no, I'm going to commit to this, and it didn't work out, and that was all the difference, I think.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, when you're all the way down there in lunar subterranean, it feels bad to like have to come back out. So
Yeah, and then to like go all the way back to Blue Planet and hit every shot, because by that point I'd forgotten where I found everything. It was an unmitigated disaster, like one thing leading to another, but it was still a lot of fun.
just for your edification, I will say that the one spot you didn't check, which was Ordeals, did have the spoon.
Oh, Ordeals. It's one of those things that 9 times out of 10, I always go there early. And this time I was like, I'm not going to waste time on 3 fights on Ordeals. And then I actually went back, and when I was looking around, I was like, let me go ahead and hit Yang with the pan. And then I was like, I'm not going to waste time going to Sheila. I'm just going to go back grind and finish.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, I gotta say thanks for sticking it up. These are tough flags, so everybody who was on stream really kicked it out. And honestly, until the grind part of the game, it was a very close race for sure between everybody on and off stream.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to going back and watching this restream and seeing how everybody else did. I'm curious, like how my mistakes really sunk me and like where I could have potentially been if I had had my
Yeah, I mean, it was really great at one point because you were grinding underground and BG Rich was grinding on trapdoors, and the other two were grinding on giants in the Giant of Babel. So we've got to see a lot of different strategies for.
I wish I would have thought of the trapdoors. That would have been good too.
Cool beans. Well, are you going to be participating in the next table, the 2v2, Captain?
I'm really looking forward to that, and I was like, all right, I'm going to be restreamed tonight, so I need to put on a good showing. So anyone left that would be a good partner would be like, yeah, this is the guy we want to be with. And now I'm over here like, okay, I'm going to have to pay some.
Oh, I doubt that. But there are plenty of runners though that don't have partners yet. I think there's a list actually in Discord. You should check that out and drop somebody a line.
Yeah, I was looking at the list when they posted it earlier, and I was like, all right, who can I sucker into being my partner? So hopefully I can find somebody that's patient and willing to practice with me this week and put on a really good showing in the qualifiers that's coming.
So, all right. Any last comments here before we wrap up for the night?
Yeah, best advice I can give anybody is if you're going to be like in go mode early, don't let the pressure trick you. That's definitely like I got way too inside of my head. I'm not making that mistake ever again.
Okay, we learn something every time. Oh, and Niern says that Z scores are actually in. So let me check that real.
While Z-Man is looking those up, I'll just plug everything again. Thank you, Z-Man, for being my co-commentator tonight. I feel like we really punched it up, and Smithy, of course, always in the background of these events, tracking today, sometimes restreaming, but very awesome. It was a kind of chaotic at first, so thanks for keeping up. And Invenerable, of course, for the restream, without which we wouldn't have been able to show you this great race.
So, all right, we do have our Z scores up and posted. So, the 12 members that will be participating in the final table are Kirchin, Dusty Griff, Penguinator, Baka Shinobi, Moonblaze Wolf, Scratch Dragon, Zilch gets in on Z score, Dark Kobold, Iker gets in on Z score, Chakushura, Simbu gets in on Z score, and the last on Z score, Aizen Tayama. So those are our 12 participants that will be racing next Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, either here on twitch.tv/freeenterprise or on Limit Break, RPG Limit Break, or on Random Mania. So congratulations to those 12 runners. Come root them on Friday night.
All right, thanks guys for the restream, the commentary, and the tracking. Y'all did great.
And we're going to go raid Loot Sorrow, who is doing free enterprise.